a good process for the Canadian kids. I think the last few years, a kid has gone number one. The kids that have played in the league. So it's not this. I don't think it's anything new anymore for them. In terms of playing in Toronto here for the Raptors, I don't think so. We try to make things as comfortable for them and bring them in. If we're lucky to get one, they go through the process. I think it's very simple. Plus, there's a learning curve to it. Whichever kid you get, they're going to come and have to play maybe behind somebody and go through like a learning curve. So I think they'll be fine.
Masai, can you talk about Tyler Ennis? Obviously, a lot of skill on the floor. What have you learned about him as Tyler, the person, in getting to know him?
Fantastic kid. I think very straightforward, very. I was just talking about it with Coach Casey, and he just met him. We interviewed him in Chicago, and super kid. Just very professional and carries himself the right way. But I was fortunate. This is one of those deals where we could go to Syracuse as many times, as being close to here, drive up. So I was fortunate to go to a couple practices and a couple games, and you see his demeanor, and just I think he'll make a good professional.
How surprised would you be if he was available at 20?
I'd be surprised.
Going into the draft, are you planning on doing best player available, or do you have a set of needs you plan on picking?
We have needs on the team, but at some point you go best player available. We do have needs on our team, but I think you go best player available. Especially in this kind of a draft, maybe, because it's maybe a little overrated, from beginning when we first started talking about it to now, but it's pretty good, good talent.
Is there a position of strength when you look at the players available in the draft?
Maybe the two-guard position. I think there's a couple younger guys there that are pretty good. It's heavy a little bit, but that's from my study or looking at it just overall. That's kind of what I see.
What caused this draft to go from the greatest of all time to one that's okay?
You. You guys. No, I don't know. It's all excitement, right? And I think. Maybe going from last year to this year, it's a little bit of an extreme, you can say. So I don't want to use the word extreme, but we talked about last year as being not so good, and then this year we talked about it as being very, very good, and there was that. Everybody concentrated on it that way. I think it's still very good. There's still some very, very good players, but. I don't think you can compare it to a couple other drafts in the past.
Masai, what can you learn that maybe you didn't know about these players that come in for these workouts? I mean, you see them obviously in college and on the court, but what can you learn specifically when they come to these type of workouts?
Our jobs are done mostly like when they play basketball games. That's what they're supposed to do. These workouts, you learn like a lot of stuff, how they react when you push them a little bit, foot speed, actual size when you see them close to you, and just character. We like getting them up close, so you know how they react to some things. Shooting mechanics, like you kind of concentrate and put them in maybe sometimes difficult positions where you see when they tire out how they react. So there are things to see here, but I think most of the work, honestly, is done when they're playing.
You said one of the needs is more rim protection. It's
It's pretty good. We'll evaluate and see, weigh him against other guys, and we'll keep evaluating. But he's got that skill, so.
In the time that you spent in Syracuse watching Tyler this year, you happened to see him play this year. Is there anything that stood out about it? Obviously his play, but is there an instance or an anecdote from there that sort of
the couple games I went to, he was quiet like for some parts of the game, and then just that outburst, like it was. I asked him about that. It's funny to see, but we've tracked him a long time, and from what I've seen, he's very poised, plays very calm, and that's the first thing I noticed. Can get his teammates involved, and then when he needs to score, he takes care of business, which is, I think, a good trait to have as an NBA player.
What did he say when you asked him about that? What did he say when you asked him about that?
I can't tell you.
The second, before we start with the top of the draft, what was the second round? I think you have 2 picks, right?
Yes.
And second round picks maybe more relevant now.
Well, me, I always they are very valuable now, depending on where you see it, roster spots and who is available, trades, how you can package deals to move up. They are very valuable to us, and I think this year we've taken them very serious. Spend a lot of time. Our guys have done a great job going to watch all these players. So, my opinion, in the second round, if you can weigh the next 5 years and you can get 1 or 2 right, I think you've hit. So
20% rate.
Yes, yeah. If you can get there, it takes them sometimes a longer route, and then you can get lucky. Maybe we get. Sometimes it's luck. A lot of times, so maybe we can get lucky too. So.
With regards to Machines, you look at his age being probably the oldest in the draft. Is that positive or negative?
You can look at it either way. I think if you can play, you can play. But sometimes we tend to I try not to get our guys to emphasize on that age thing. Especially, when you know where your team is. We're a growing team, but the reality too is we were a playoff team, so whoever we're adding, sometimes we need somebody that, might come and do a little something for us. And then maybe there's a couple players that we might get that at the 15th and 14th players that we can develop, take a couple years to develop, and we know that's what we're going to do. So in that instance, then you go a little bit younger, right? So that's the tough part.
When you talk about upside, usually synonymous with youth, with Jordan obviously an older guy. Do you think he's got some big upside left in him, or do you think he's technically maxed out?
Well, being athletic and you always got upside, right? Is how you learn the game and figure out how to play. And I think when he figures that out, he's going to be an athlete for a while. So he'll figure it out.
If a player you really like manages to fall in the draft further than you expected, would you consider trading up for him?
Yes. We're going to look at all options. The one thing I say about the draft is we all fall in love with it when the day of, a couple of days before, so I never get myself or my guys hopeful that you're going to move up. We want to study 20 and figure out 20, because if you are hoping for that, there's 29 other teams that are hoping for the same, and 29 other teams that are trying to do other deals, so I've been heartbroken a couple times, so I've learned not to, not to rely on that at all.
How does having your top 2 point guards heading into free agency after the draft complicate deciding on a point guard or anything in the draft, which comes obviously before that?
It doesn't. Yeah, it honestly doesn't. We're confident with our guys, and I think we're well prepared for the process, and we treat that separately. That's free agency, and with our draft pick, we'll try and do the best we can.